All right, welcome to our regular podcast that has become regular, and credit to Ian and the crew at WCAT that keeps us coming back because I do think we would want to do this on our own, but WCAT goes out of their way to reach out to us and say, hey, this is a public service. You guys are doing great work. You're incredibly good looking, and we need you on TV. Now, so let's do kind of the usual routine, which is kind of a catch up, then talk about some big items, and then what we have to look forward to. But let's start with the catch up. What's been going on over the summer?
Well, construction is well underway. The foundation is in the ground, and we're making progress on the new high school. So that's very positive. And so some other things that are happening in addition to that is that this weekend, so the Voc up the hill Northeast Voc starts on Monday. So this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, they're going to be repaving Hemlock to get it all squared away because they had to run utilities underneath Hemlock over to the new construction site. And so, but that work is completed. There's going to be a new section of Hemlock that's going to be paved to get ready to welcome students back to the Voc on Monday. And the following week, starting Monday, we're also going to be doing some work out on Farm Street ahead of the high school students returning the week after that to get that squared away as well. So that's a very quick update. But like Steve Mayo likes to say, start with the big news, right? Where we are on schedule and on budget, right? It's just about time and getting things done right now.
That's a good point, and I don't know if you've been following our friends in Stoneham, but, on time has been an issue over there. And basically, in brief, they're running behind schedule. And there's no other way to say it. They're running behind schedule on the construction of the new high school. I guess, wave effect of that is that the high school provides foods for the entire district. So now they've had to delay closing, and they're working out a variety of options, and parents, rightfully so, are stressed and concerned. Camps are no longer available. What are they going to do for childcare?
You mean delay opening?
Delay opening. Sorry. So I guess, is there any, I guess the reassurance is what you just said, but I guess what do you tell Wakefield taxpayers and Wakefield residents and families that we may not be looking into a similar situation, other than we're just better overall?
Yeah. Well, we are 2.5 years away from that, that conversation. And so we are scheduled to open at the new high school in January of 27, right? So that's 2.5 years from now. And so, I'm anticipating that with the management, the construction management team we have, the construction company, Bond Construction, and the architectural team, SMMA, they've been excellent. The design team, the permanent building committee is on this, right? And I feel like every meeting that we go to is always pretty on point, very positive. Even we've had some setbacks. Even with the setbacks, we've still managed to kind of get things done and to kind of recover and come up with a plan or ways to solve problems and keep the schedule going and to stay on schedule. So right now, I'm very optimistic about how things are coming together. Again, I don't know if I would have reported this a month ago because we had water get into the gym and got underneath the hardwood floor, and the floor buckled. And so it looked a little bit like a skateboard park with these big swells.
Yeah, you just say it's a new feature.
Oh, can I tell you, I think kids would have loved to come in and kind of, if they had a skateboard or a bike. But the Bond Construction kind of regrouped. They rerouted the drains to get the drainage situation squared away to solve that problem, to get the water away from the building. The floor was taken up and a new floor was put down. And so we're in the process of having that floor refinished now, and that should be online when we open school. but that's a perfect example of things that aren't planned for. Emergencies or kind of accidents happen, and Bond has, I think, managed all of those things really remarkably well. So that's a quick update there.
No, and you know what I would add to that too. One thing, credit to the town and to the schools. I think this town's been very good about saving their buildings, right? Not, and I'm not saying that this would happen or will happen, but the fact of the matter is, we do have the Hurd School, right? Mm-hmm. You do think about some of the other buildings in town. God forbid there's a worst case scenario. I think we might have a bit more flexibility than Stoneham. But with that said, any other updates from the summer?
There's a bunch of updates. Many.
Well,
updates.
we have time.
So just one more comment about the high school as we get ready to open school. We're going to be putting out. We sent home some information last week, just about some safety changes that are being made for the intersection in Farm and Hemlock. On a good day without construction, it's a bit treacherous. And so, but with all the construction in the spring, at the end of school, it was an accident. Someone was hit on a bike. It was an adult, it was not a student. But we've met a few times with traffic safety, with the Wakefield Police, with the town administrator, and the construction team. And as a result of those conversations, along with the construction team, we are putting in 3 speed bumps, or they call them speed tables. And so we're going to be putting 2 in on Farm Street, one right after Old Nahant, and one right after the Woodville on Farm, and the other one up on Hemlock. And so that's going to be helpful. We're also adding a traffic supervisor or crossing guard to help at the intersection of Farm and Hemlock to help students safely get across the street there. But we think with the speed tables, the speed bumps, the plan is to slow traffic down and just try to get people moving more slowly.
No, it's an awful intersection. It really is.
It is.
And you're right. With construction, it's going to be 10 times worse.
Yeah. So that's happening, and we appreciate the support both of the police and of course Steve Mayo and his team. But that's what's happening as well.
We should invite Steve on one of these, by the way. How fun would that be?
That'd be great. You know who we should invite. Because we got to transition to really what we should be talking about, which are students and programming.
We should. That would be
right?
awesome.
And because that's why we're here, right? And but our band students this week are away in Maine at camp, right? So one of the changes they made this year is they didn't do band camp here on site because of all that's going on.
For obvious
so they
reasons.
took everyone away. And I think this is going to be a little bit like our kindergarten acceleration academy, where we did it once and it was so wildly successful. I don't think they're ever going to go back or do anything different. But Mr. Bankert and his team were very excited earlier this week to pack up the box truck and get everyone going. And the kids are could not have been more excited. And I've heard from him during the week here. And it's rained a little bit up there in Maine, but I think the kids are having an awesome time.
I wouldn't be surprised, and our marching band reminds me, and I say this as a compliment. I used to have, I still do, have friends who are from down south where football, especially at the high school level, is a much bigger deal. And for weeks before school, they all go away together. And they go to a football camp to get ready for the season. And it just reminds me of that, the marching band is that good. And also from a student's perspective, one thing I've always endeared me about the marching band and the music wing is that it really does become a community of sorts.
It's like a school within a school.
It's so true.
And Tom Bankert is like the principal of that school. So, and what got me talking about band was just this idea of having other people on the podcast. Tom Bankert is someone we should have on the podcast, right?
Absolutely.
And so we could talk for a while about band and Tom Bankert and all the good things that he's accomplishing. But I guess the other quick update I would just share is that all preseason sports are in play.
Yep.
And that's exciting. It's great to have kids back, right? Because it's, again, like I said a moment ago, it's why we're here. But we also have the Acceleration Academy, which Kara can talk about for our kindergartners, which is
Well, I start crying.
it's one of the best things we do.
And I'll give you the personal
I would
experience.
love to hear it.
Well, you tell people what it is, and then I'll
Yes.
give my.
So this past week, we just ended about an hour ago. Our incoming kindergarten students all come in for what we call our Early Literacy Academy. Gives them a week of time to acclimate to their new school, meet their teachers, meet the staff, meet some new future classmates, and it just always is a really positive week that serves us well in September when they come back.
No, it's so true. I loved it, and I'll tell you from a parent's perspective. It was amazing. The fact that it's already a pretty overwhelming experience for a young person. You have the school to yourself.
Yeah.
It's a short time, incredibly structured, and kudos to Miss Ortega and Kim Smith, and and every teacher there. That's where my son is, and I was saying before the podcast, it's called Class Dojo, and if you don't know, it's an app that they'll send you pictures and stories of what's going on. And I can't imagine a better tool for parents who are just worried about their kids.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved getting pictures of my son. It was something I looked forward to. He was fine. I was a mess. I was... Kevin Piscadlo, who's on the school committee, texted me asking how I was, and I said, I'm listening to Cats in the Cradle outside the Dole Bear. But it was so good.
Yeah.
And Doug, if you said this quote, I'm sorry, I'm giving it to you if you don't like it, but I thought it was great. I thought it was a great quote. But somebody said, kindergarten especially is basically reading and writing school. It's understanding school. And I thought that was so, I don't know if you said that. Somebody said that, but it always stuck with me.
Yeah, I think one of the things we share is that kindergarten is the teachers aren't only teaching students about, their letters and their numbers, but they're also teaching them how to learn. And
Exactly.
That was what we talked about here.
Yeah, and it was so, I'm like, it's so profound because like he's like learning to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I was actually saying, I was like, I'm envious. I told my wife that I'm like, if I ever do a career change, it's going to be in education because I can't imagine. So like I say this at the Boys and Girls Club, I'm on the side of where I've been there long enough that I'm seeing like the 14-year-olds that when I started are now becoming adults, and I'm like filled with pride knowing them. So I can't imagine like if you're an elementary or a middle school teacher, like how you must feel. Like, no offense to the high school teachers, you got them, they're already older. But like if you're in like middle school and elementary school and you've seen them become the adults they are, you must be so proud at that point.
Absolutely. The development's unbelievable year to year. I think I just have to credit the staff as well. I'm glad you had such a positive experience. The teachers we've had, this is our fourth summer, and we've had pretty consistent staff year over year, and almost all of our kindergarten teachers district-wide jump in. They're seeing the benefits of it. The principals are seeing the benefits of it, and the parents. So it's really been a successful program. And I think in general, just updates from the summer, we really don't stop. It feels like
True.
It slows down. But when I think about everything that still happened over the summer between our special ed extended school year services that happened. Bev Elsowitz recently reported on that at the school committee. Huge turnout of kids getting support services over the summer to prepare them for September. Estelle Burdick runs our Wakefield Academy programs. I know there's a lot of Wakefield kids at the rec programs, Boys and Girls Club. There's a lot going on in town. And even just our teachers and staff, the working groups that happen over the summer, we have... it takes a lot to be ready for the first day. So there's a lot of work happening with curriculum and teachers coming together and collaborating and designing units. Our union leadership has been great reaching out to us. We've met several times throughout the summer. So it slows down a little, but it doesn't really stop ever. There's always preparation for the next thing.
No, it's true. And I'm now just thinking about this. Class Dojo is very like young child focused. I have to imagine now, as kids go into middle school and high school, parents must have now new access to checking and monitoring their kids' education in ways that just weren't available before.
Well, grades are posted online.
I was
now,
actually just,
right?
it's
Yeah.
funny. I was,
So it's not
yeah.
it's very different and from when you went to school in that you'd have to wait to get grades or like kids essentially have what looks and feels like a running record. You know, it takes time for the teachers to get things corrected and get things up. You know, get things posted. But the information that's available, it's almost overwhelming. It's almost too much. Or it can feel like too much. I don't want to say it's too much, but students know where they're at. There's different ways to communicate with teachers. Teachers have Google Classroom. There's so many innovative ways that teachers use technology to keep everybody up to speed and keep students squared
well,
away.
it triggered something in me when I saw that. I'm like, if this is what they do for kindergarten, like I wonder like how much more involved. And then I said, wow, I feel really bad for my son and not that I ever did this, but like, you can't Photoshop your report card
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You can't hide things like,
You'd be in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Anthony. So, if I could go back, I just want to jump back. I want to thank Kara for bringing up our summer programming because just to let and other people know, there was an article in the Globe this week about just the need for students to have summer services, and when articles like that show up, it always makes me curious to reflect on our practice here in Wakefield. What are we doing? Are we supporting well? And recently, Bev Elsowitz and Estelle Berta came to school committee, and one of the things that they shared is that their population, their programs have almost doubled in size. So, many places are scurrying to say, we can only take so many, we only have slots for so many, or we only have space to do so much work. And I think, not only have those directors of extended year services and summer programming welcome the increase in the number of students, I think that they're partially responsible for the growth of the programs, or wholly responsible, because they've kind of adapted and made the program really fun for kids. And so kids want to attend, and there's a little bit of a break, and it's not like the regular school schedule. But I'm really pleased at the work that they've done in the summer. And like I said, we've almost doubled in size,
That's
which is
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it just speaks to the realities of family state too. Summer is a great time of year, but it can be a very stressful time of year as well. Just trying to think about daycare, try support for parents who are still working, support for students. So it's just nice as a town that we've come together. We have a lot of different options for our parents, because I do think all kids need that combination of fun and structure.
Well,
Or
true,
it could
and-
be a very long summer.
Well, true, yeah. And
I have personal experience with that, yeah.
well, true, and you want to avoid that, summer slide or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
You want to avoid a child falling behind simply
Yep.
because they didn't have access to quality summer programming.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But but not a short time ago, parents would make suggestions to their parents like, how about a summer reading group, or how about going to the library and fill it in, and that's not always met with excitement or what we would hope, right? But Estelle and Bev have been able to kind of balance this idea of what are kids interested in, what is fun, right? What keeps them coming back, and what do we need to do? Like, how do we need to support academically? So they've really tailored the program to like Kara said, make it fun and keep people engaged, but yet also work in the other things that they need to get done.
Well, you're right, and I can only speak for myself having very young kids, but if Jacob doesn't want to go to something, it's going to be a lot harder
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
he's-
absolutely.
to make it happen.
Definitely.
So we kind of went into the middle, the big issues, which is really people want to know about the construction in the school
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I'm curious, what do we have to look forward to this school year?
There's
Everything?
that's the answer to that question, is everything. Like what Kara said is important because, the principals and us, we work really hard over the summer to prepare everything. It's not just about ordering materials and cleaning. That is, of course, part of it. Tim O'Brien is working double time with his team to make sure everything is clean and operable and squared away and ready for us to open school. But it's also a time where we do professional development, right? We do a lot of preparation and kind of preparing for new curriculum work, preparing for new programs that we're learning. So teachers spend an inordinate amount of time learning outside of the school day and the school year to prepare for the range of students and their needs in their classes. So, I mean, that takes quite a bit of time. But, as an administrator, as a former principal, one of the telltales for doing good work in the summer and hiring and preparing is that on the first day of school when students are here, after the bell rings, the hallways are clear, things are quiet. It's like everyone is where they're supposed to be, and we've done good work. And that's not to say that some people don't need a little help, or we need to remind students that yes, school did start and you need to be on time. That's all part of it. But yeah, so there's a lot happening when we open school. We're going to have professional development for a few days.
Yep. So we'll have our teachers and staff come back on September 3rd, and we're mixing up our welcoming gathering this year because of the voting that's happening at the Galvin on September 3rd. We're just trying to get people out of there so there's enough space for voters to come in and out with ease. So we'll have kind of a building-based day there with teachers and staff at their own buildings. And then the 4th we'll gather as a whole district, which is always a really nice event to get everyone together at the Galvin Auditorium and just welcome everyone back, just reconnect, that sort of thing. And then our students come on the 5th. So,
That's
so
awesome.
we're the school year, I think I'm most looking forward to. I feel like we're definitely hitting stride in terms of a lot of the work we're doing with teams, with steady leadership, curriculum work. It just, for us, from kind of that big picture lens, it feels like things are going in a really positive direction, and it's just nice that there's no kind of major thing that I can think of right now that's going to be a hurdle right now. But while the construction project is underway, there's a plan for that. There's kind of a plan for everything at this point in time. Things always throw us for a loop here and there, but
one of the areas that we improved dramatically in last year is attendance.
Yep.
So there was a real push on the part of the administrative teams in the schools to support students and to really help students get to school, to be on time. And so that was really a push. Post-COVID, attendance numbers and attendance rates have really dropped off dramatically. And it's been hard for some kids to get to school and to get back into routines and to stay in routines. But the work that our administrative teams did at schools, we got our kind of feedback on our percentages, on the rates of attendance. And all of our rates of attendance are over 90%, 92, 3%. So we're almost where we were pre-COVID. So that's very positive. But we're going to need to continue to do that work. We now have more of an intact counseling team, which is here to support students and families. And so that we can't say enough about that. So a lot of the work that we're doing, so I would love to say that we have a bunch of flashy new programs. We don't. I think what we have is kind of the plan that we've started, which is incrementally, what do we need to do to improve with curriculum? These are the programs we're going to bring in. This is the time we're going to spend. This is the outcomes that we're hoping to see, right? And so it's more steady work over time.
You're absolutely right. And I know we've said this before. I say this all the time, and you even see it at the Boys and Girls Clubs, right? We'll attract parents and families, and in the Boys and Girls Club world, we'll attract donors a lot of times. Is the cool toys, right? It's the 3D printing. Mm-hmm. It's the things the kids are working on, the microchips, building computers, the fancy smart boards and whatnot. But the real work, to your point, is the social work, is the team of counselors, it's the teachers, it's the relationships, it's what we're building
Yeah.
every single day. And I won't say who the teacher is, but there was a teacher who wrote me this incredible letter of recommendation once because I just said hi to him in the hallway every day.
Yeah.
And it was huge, but it was like we built a relationship on saying hi to each other. And I'm like, I know it seems silly, but it's like those little things
Yeah.
are way more important than
Yeah.
than the tools.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, success is about preparation.
Yeah.
And, you know, did you have Mr. Hoover while you were here, Bill Hoover?
I did not. I know who he is. I did not have him.
Yeah. So Bill Hoover is a perfect example. Draws very little attention to himself, right? And so, you know, we will catch up and speak, not at length, but he'll just give me an update about what's happening. But every year he drops in with his AP scores, right? And he cannot be more proud of the work the kids did and the scores that they've gotten, you know. But I'll say this: so this is summer, and these weeks are like the weeks to be off or get, you know, just squeeze as much time in as you can with family and loved ones. You know, Bill Hoover's been here almost every day.
Wow.
So this is the stuff, right? So I see him in the hallway. He's like, I'm leaving. An hour later, I see him in the hallway. The next day, I see him. The day after that, I see him. And, you know, but everyone's here, like preparing. You know, people are sneaking in on their own time. People are kind of getting what they need to get to prepare for students.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
There are.
I mean, you were just in a K classroom.
Yeah.
Like, that classroom is ready to go,
Oh yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And that classroom is
That's it. There wasn't a fairy that did it overnight.
right. So, and is that an amazingly decorated
It's
classroom?
true. It's so true, and it's like the parts of it to keep going. We're gonna like to praise educators in general, but it has to be a vocation to a certain extent because
Yeah.
I sit there and I'm like, the people who are taking care of my child and the other
Yeah.
children, their ability to just say, I'm sure there's stuff going on in their life, but for that set of time, I'm going to be that person's caregiver, that person's child. And then for some kids, much more than that because they may not have it at home. It's huge. And you can't do that between the school, your working hours, supposedly. Thank God this is a video podcast. I'm doing the air quotes for the working hours. I just realized. But yeah, you have to do that. You do that extra.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you know, and that's what young people remember. That's they remember the relationships.
Yeah, and I don't mean to single out Bill Hoover because they're, you know, if we have 360 teachers, right?
Yeah.
They've all been in during these weeks, and they've all been working, you know, and it's, you know, they quote, they drop in, so they bring their kids with them, and they
Yeah.
put their kids to work. It's quite heart filling, right? And so it's a great feeling.
Well, let's. I mean, as we wrap up, let's ask the tough questions. How much better is Mr. Hoover than Mr. O'Brien? No, I'm kidding. I had Mr. O'Brien, and I'm just busting on him now. So he was tough. He was an English teacher back in my day.
Mr. O'Brien, so we opened school 3 years ago now, and we invited back a student who was an adult. She had graduated from college, but attributes a lot of her success. She zoomed in, and so it's the first time we had ever done anything like that, but we had a student zoom in on the big screen in the auditorium of Galvin.
That's cool.
And the student zoomed in just to talk about her experience here at the high school and the little things that the teachers did to make a difference. And one of the people that made such a significant difference was Jack O'Brien.
It's true. I still remember to this day, like, I would go in and Mr. O'Brien had, like, a stash of his, like, I would say, like, I was a freshman at the time, but they were, like, books for seniors or, like, college prep, and there's, you know, more mature books, and they were about subjects ranging from, like, the Holocaust to the Civil War and whatnot, and a few other things. And I remember I would always be looking at them before class, and he was nice. He didn't have to do this. I wasn't in his class. I was, it was somebody else. I can't remember her name. She was a wonderful teacher as well. But Mr. O'Brien was always nice enough to be like, "Do you want to borrow that book? And if you ever want to talk about it, let me know." And he wasn't my teacher per se, but he went out of his way to do that for me, and I never forgot that. But if you ever want to make fun of him too, you let me know. I'd be happy to do that as well. So him, and then I don't know. Were you around for Mr. Muscardini? He was another one. He was an older.
No.
Put it this way, he was older when I was in school. So, all right, well, guys, I think that's about it. I'm sure we'll be doing one soon. But any final thoughts before we start the school year?
I think just very excited to start the school year, and as we mentioned a couple of times, the people, the relationships that we have with one another to support students and family, it feels really good. I think that our principals, our teachers, everyone's done a really nice job coming together, collaborating, and it feels like every year just keeps getting better and better. So I'm excited for this school year.
I agree. I think in the fall, maybe we can have, in our next podcast, maybe we can have someone join in.
No, absolutely.
I know Amy McLeod joined in our spring podcast, which was fun.
It was.
Which is fun. It's always good to hear another voice talk about the work we do.
Also, and me and Doug are always late. Like, it's just, we'll try to be on time. I promise.
It's fine.
So,
I was here at 10 of. I'll admit that. You're fine. I'm kidding.
It is. In fairness, I was here. I just keep forgetting that you can't go through WCAT's normal entrance.
Yes. I know. It delays by a little bit. Yeah.
No. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to WCAT.
Great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the time. Appreciate it.